There was a time when I used to believe it, and for a long time I did, and it sort of dictated my life in this way that just made it less enjoyable. There was less fulfillment, there was less happiness, there was a lot more self-doubt going on in my mind when I had this false belief. And the term was thrown around so much, just getting into entrepreneurship, that I thought it must be true, but the reality is that it's not. And what I'm talking about is you've got to love what you do. Right, guys, it's about 7:30 a.m. Beautiful morning here, and I just want to take you back. I want to take you back a few years to 2018, October 2018. I just started my business, and it was such a huge moment for me when I first got that letter from the government saying you have a limited company. It's one of those things like business cards where I thought I had made it. It was looking at this thinking, this is it. This is the next chapter of my life. This is something that I've been thinking about for so long. How old was I? I was 21. And since I was 14, 15, I've always wanted my own business. So that's 6-7 years of thinking I'm going to start my own business, to then having this piece of paper in front of me showing my mum that I had a limited company. Like, this is it. This is such a huge step for me in terms of my next chapter, my growth, how I'm going to live my life from now on my own terms. That was what was important. This limited company, this piece of paper from the government said that it indicated that I'm not going to be taking shit from anywhere else. I'm living my own terms. I'm living my own life. I'm doing this through my own business. So as so many of us do, I was on YouTube looking at various business entrepreneurs, particularly Gary Vee, all of these guys. And a common theme that they were talking about is you've got to love what you do. I was working away. I was building a website for myself. I was making my business cards, and it was fun. That wasn't really business. It was like the stuff like the cold calling, the cold emailing, the admin, all of that stuff that over time I grew to dislike. And after hearing from all these like hugely successful people that you've got to love what you do, there was this almost incongruency, because everyone was saying you've got to love what you do, but there were some parts that I just didn't enjoy. And I remember that winter, or like that time, it was just been Christmas, and I was sitting around, I think I had this conversation with my mum. Everyone was saying you've got to love what you do. And I was like, yeah, I enjoy marketing, but I don't like this other stuff in the business. Like, I don't love it. So I sort of went on for a few weeks, and I always had it in the back of my mind. There was this self-doubt. There was this questioning, like, oh, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe this piece of paper that the government gave me was a mistake. Look, throughout this time when I was having these conversations, I was trying to convince myself that I loved marketing. It was my passion. It was my purpose. But the reality, it just wasn't. I was good at it. I was really good at it. I am really good at it. And I enjoyed it, yeah. But marketing wasn't my passion. And I had to come to terms with that. Recently, when I was in the gym, smashing some PRs and listening to my podcast. Oh yeah, I listen to podcasts in the gym now because, anyway, it's too long to explain, but I'd highly recommend it. So I was listening to a podcast and I heard something that altered a belief system of mine. We shouldn't do what we love because that's unrealistic. If that were true, think about how many footballers there would be. Although it's a shame, it is unrealistic to think that we can do exactly what we're passionate about. But before I give you how to solve this, there are those of you who are just like how I was. Back when I thought that I was obsessed with marketing, but something still didn't feel right. Now, it was a while ago, and me and my friend went out for brunch. We went out for coffee, some eggs Benedict. It was super nice. And during this time, he's finished university. He's doing a master's, I think, something like that. And I was talking about my agency, and he said something that really stopped me. He said, do you see yourself doing marketing for the rest of your life? Because the pre-frame to this was that I said, I don't think I can work for someone else for the rest of my life. I always think I will be self-employed, have my own business. So he followed this up with, do you see yourself in marketing for the rest of your life or the rest of your career? And at first I said yes, but something didn't sit right. But when I was driving back with a belly full of Eggs Benedict and iced coffee running, racing through my veins, it hit me. Do I want to do marketing for the rest of my life? And the answer is no. When I got home, I remember laying down and really doubting my agency. I still had this belief that you should do what you love. So these thoughts of self-doubt started roaming around my head. Should I quit my agency and start again? Look, it was overwhelming, and to be honest, I felt lost. Not just for that afternoon, but for months to come. Realistically, I don't want to do marketing for my whole life, yet I have a marketing agency. So am I wasting my time? Do I start something new? At some point, these questions stopped, and I decided to carry on with my agency and just not think too much about that for now. And I didn't until recently at the gym. I was probably smashing a PR where all the hot girls were just staring at me with adoration, and I wrote a little note in my phone that said, your job won't be your passion, but you can work in the ecosystem of your passion. Let's go through an example. Now, why do people volunteer at football games to be stood on the sidelines in the cold, in the rain, just making sure that there aren't like hooligans starting fights? Do they do it because they love that job? No, they do it because they love football. And that's how they are working in the ecosystem. Maybe they wanted to be a footballer when they were a kid. Unrealistic. However, working as a volunteer at these football games, realistic. They are still involved in this game that they love. They are still involved in this ecosystem. So being that volunteer is not only realistic, but it's purposeful because they're in that ecosystem of what they are passionate about. So we can find out our passion in 3 ways. First of all, is what we consume. Now, a great way to do this is looking at your YouTube history. Now, in terms of consuming content, now, I don't want to talk about TikTok or Instagram because they rely on algorithms. Now, this is what you like when it's put in front of you. Now, this could mean that you're scrolling and your TikTok feed is full of girls shaking that booty. It doesn't mean you're passionate about that. No, we look at your YouTube because you physically have to search what you want to watch. Now, this is a clear indicator of what we're passionate about because we fill our time when we're on YouTube watching stuff that we want to watch, stuff that we're interested in, what we're passionate about. Another thing you can do is to look at the email newsletters you subscribe to, the books that you read. This is such a good indicator at what you are passionate about. Look, the second way is to look at something that not a lot of us want to look at, and this is our bank statements. So what are we actually spending our money on? This is, again, a clear indicator. Obviously, you have things like essentials, and I'm not going to say that you are passionate about bog roll because you buy a lot of it. No, I'm going to say that what you spend your disposable income on is what you are passionate about, is what you're interested in. So if you find yourself buying a lot of clothes, then you're interested in fashion. If you find yourself buying, like me, rice, chicken, self-improvement books, courses, all of this stuff, like gym, trips to the sauna and steam room, then I'm very interested in keeping my mind, my body, myself healthy. So that's what I'm passionate about. It's that self-improvement, that personal growth. Because I can see that I spend a lot of money on chicken and rice and like books that teach me how to be better, how to grow as a person and how to grow my business. And the third way to figure out what we're passionate about is to speak to those closest to us and ask, what are we always talking about? What won't we shut up about? Now, unless we're forced to, then our conversations are likely to be about what we're most interested in. Are you always talking to your mates about the football scores at the weekend? Or maybe you're talking about the latest UFC match that went on. Or maybe you're talking about the latest workout split you're trying, or the new book that you've just started to read. So you've tried these 3 ways and you've got a pretty good idea of the ecosystem you want to be in. So what's next? Become a UFC fighter? Become a bodybuilder? Unless you've been training for years and have already got genetics that are better than getting that look from the hot girl in the gym as you smash a PR, then it's likely that that's not for you. So here's the revelation that I had. We know it's unrealistic to do exactly what we're passionate about, but it's very reasonable to think that we can work in this ecosystem. If you love golf, you may not be a pro golfer. Now look at this. Does that look like the stance of a pro golfer? You could work at a golf shop. You could start a golf blog. You could start a golf podcast. You could start a TikTok account, getting all the best clips of the past golf tournaments, the best ones, those winning moments. You could start that TikTok account. Then you could become an affiliate marketer for all the best golf products like gloves, shoes, accessories, like even gear. And that's how you make your online business in the same ecosystem that you're passionate about. For me, my YouTube history is filled with self-improvement and business channels. My bank account has endless Amazon product receipts from all the ebooks that I buy. Conversations I have are about health, how to get healthier, how to be a better person, how to grow my business, how to add more value to those around me. So it's obvious that the ecosystem I need to be in is self-improvement. And yes, the ideal for me might be to be a self-improvement influencer, but right now that's neither viable nor what I want to dedicate my time to. So what do? I have a marketing agency that works now with self-improvement YouTubers. I help them make more money, help them get more freedom in their lives through selling more courses online. And I've merged those two. I'm good and I'm competent at marketing, and I'm in this ecosystem of self-improvement. My advice is not to get too caught up in this ideal, but to just get involved with this ecosystem that from these 3 steps, you now know. You've looked at what you consume, you've looked at what you spend your money on, and you know the conversations you have. You know now the ecosystem you need to be in order to live a happy, fulfilled life. Because when you work in there, then your whole life just gets better. So go out and get involved in that ecosystem in any way that you can. Look at ways that other people are getting involved. How can you link what you're competent at, what you're good at, what you're experienced at into those ecosystems? So go do that, and I hope you have a great day.